You just gave a terrific talk on embedded sustainability, and some of the ideas that you revealed were very, very eye-opening. You talked about three big concepts. Maybe you could just relay those for the audience.
Sure. And these questions are addressed at business managers who may not be bought into sustainability yet, who are concerned about their careers and the success of their companies, but don't necessarily believe in things like climate change and so on. But they may be facing pressures on environmental, health, and social issues that their clients are asking for, operational issues, regulatory change, and so on. So these three questions are for them. It's really to help them think, are they, in their organizations, is sustainability being embedded in the organization, in the core business, or is it just bolted on? Because too many companies are taking a bolt-on approach, which is a symbolic action or symbolic product that costs more and has a worse quality. So the embedded sustainability is about driving environmental health and social performance into the core business with no trade-off in price or quality. The second is it only incremental change, or is it heretical? Now, in a little conversation you and I had just before this interview, you mentioned quite rightly that, in fact, companies need to be able to do both. They need to be able to do the quick wins, the little baby steps, and they need to be able to look for some game change, particularly where it concerns global challenges, whether it's water scarcity or chemical toxicity or energy security or food security. The kind of challenges we face are not going to be addressed either profitably or for society by small incremental change. And the last is for businesses to ask themselves whether doing less harm is what their sustainability goals are, or whether they want to think about being in the business of actually providing solutions to these global challenges.
How much heretical change can consumers take? Is this a world where people are getting catatonic because there is so much change happening around them that rapid revolutionary change versus just small evolutions will just throw them off and almost make them guilty about everything, or feel bad about everything, or scare them?
Well, I believe that there is no limit to heretical change if it makes sense for the consumer. iTunes is a good example of heretical innovation relative to CDs. There are many products and services that we're seeing come up that are not driven by sustainability, but simply rapid technological change, particularly in the whole area of telecommunications. But I think we see it in every area of our life. So the question is not how much change can they take, but how much will it make sense for them? How much will it serve their needs, as opposed to be driven by they should change more because it's the better thing to do for the earth. I do think that there's a need for a coherence between short-term earnings or returns and a longer-term quantified vision of where the organization is going. In other words, there's a need for every company that wants to succeed over time to be able to have some idea of what the longer-term goals that are consistent with, I hesitate to use the word true sustainability, but are really going towards a kind of environmental health and social performance that there's some line of sight that that's where the world needs to go or is going to go. Companies that are only focused on short-term, really quarterly earnings haven't succeeded very well anyway. We saw that in the crisis of 2002, and we saw that in 2007, 2008. So part of this is really back to the fiduciary responsibility for investors. We've got a changed marketplace now, a changed competitive context where environmental health and social factors are part of what generates earnings. Mm-hmm. But to be able to do those intelligently, you do need to have a little longer. And the head of McKinsey, by the way, just wrote a piece about this in the Harvard Business Review in March, saying you need to have a 7-year outlook. My co-author, Dr. Zeksembayeva, and I really believe you need much longer horizons than that as well.
Right. Final thought, sustainable brands, 11, impressions of the show, impressions of the people who are surrounding you?
Well, quite honestly, I've just arrived because we were in Cleveland for a board meeting the last couple of days. We missed the opening day, but I'm excited by the energy and, quite frankly, by the sheer number of people who've attended this from some very well-known companies. I think this is a sign of how Main Street the topic has become.